Oh, isn't that nice? Films next week here on Anglia through the night start on Monday, 10:35. Part of our Cult Encounter series, The Blues Brothers. Later, after the 2 a.m. news headlines, we've got Dean Martin and Jerry Lewis in Artists and Models. That looks interesting. Also starring Shirley MacLaine. On to Wednesday, and it's the second in the Moviegoer's Guide to the Galaxy series. And at 12 midnight, it's The Thing. Then midnight on Thursday, This Wonderful Crook. Then at 2:30, that's followed by a second night crime presentation, The Flanagan Boys, starring Sidney James and John Slater. Those are the films next week here on Anglia Through the Night.
Kellogg's Crunchy Nut Cornflakes. Delicious golden flakes of corn, encrusted with honey, nuts, and brown sugar, which makes them quite the most irresistible breakfast imaginable. Kellogg's Crunchy Nut Cornflakes. The trouble is, they taste too good.
Almost everything the world admires has been copied at some time or other. Stones that have deceived jewelers. Banknotes that have confused banks.
At 350,000.
Even paintings that have fooled the art world. In our opinion, however, there's one original that is yet to be equaled. Special Brew from Carlsberg.
Both James and Mrs. Fox are handicapped. And like all disabled people, they need special help with their particular problems. So if you're disabled or you know anyone who is, then this leaflet is for you. It tells you about all the allowances and benefits which are available, as well as the medical and social services provided. You may need special aids, for example, or you may need to learn how to carry out everyday tasks again. It also tells you where you can get further assistance and advice. Whether your handicap is mental or physical, permanent or only temporary, this leaflet can help you and your family. So it's called Help for Handicapped People, and it's free from your local Social Security office. If you can't get along there, then write to this address and they'll send you one. DHSS, Box 21, Stanmore. That's DHSS, Box 21, Stanmore.
How would you feel if you're driving along? It's a good straight road you can see for miles. No traffic behind you, nothing coming towards you. So you pull out to overtake. And suddenly, you're driving straight at a brick wall. You can get the same effect quite easily. You're driving along. It's a good straight road. You can see ahead for miles. No traffic behind you, nothing coming toward you. So you'll pull out to overtake. There's a junction ahead. There's a car pulling out. He can't have seen you. You can't avoid him. Overtaking near a junction can be like driving straight at a brick wall. Don't do it.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. A short demonstration of lifting heavy objects without strain. Feet about a foot apart, knees bent, straight back and down like so. And now, the wrong way. Straight legs and bent back can cause injury, no cause, injury, no cause, injury, no cause, injury, no cause, injury, no.
Nellie the elephant may have packed her own trunk, but other elephants need help, as we'll see in Survival Special, which follows the news at 4 a.m.
The government has announced new restrictions on guns allowed aboard foreign passenger jets landing in Britain in the wake of the Kuwaiti hijack. Airlines who employ so-called sky marshals will be told that automatic weapons will be confiscated. A maximum of 9 small pistols or revolvers will be allowed on any plane. Meanwhile, the hostages freed from the Kuwaiti airliner have arrived home to a hero's welcome. Most of the 29 freed hostages were in good health, but some had to be helped from the plane. The pilot, Subhi Yusuf, was reunited with his wife. One hostage was carried shoulder high, and the two princesses from the Kuwaiti royal family were showered with flowers. Many in the crowd expressed anger that the hijackers went free. A report in today's Scotsman newspaper says that defence papers containing sensitive information about American nuclear submarines have been washed up on a Scottish beach. The paper says it was handed the documents by a woman who found them on a beach near Helensburgh, 7 miles from the top-secret US naval base at Holy Loch. A defence expert has told the Scotsman that the documents could be extremely useful to a hostile power. Health Service Union leaders have welcomed the government's announcement that nurses are to get pay rises averaging more than 15%. Rodney Bickerstaff, General Secretary of NUPE, says it's a victory and vindication for the nurses who took responsible industrial action. Trevor Clay, General Secretary of the Royal College of Nursing, says he hopes it will halt the problem with recruitment. There will be larger increases for nurses in London, where there have been acute shortages, and for nurses with specialist skills. A staff nurse in paediatric intensive care could see her pay rise by £2,000 to over £10,500. But for nurses with no special skills, the rise will be less than £600. Labour's health spokesman Robin Cook says the increase is a victory for the nurses' industrial action.
This is well above a modest cost of living increase, and the reason why is because even this government's not been able to ignore the depth of public support for the NHS.
As again I would quote Trevor Clay, I think very, very wisely said, this government listens to serious argument, not to the decibel count.
And that's it for now. Join us at 5 for the morning news.
Head 'em up, move 'em out, keep them doggies moving. It's the last roundup in our survival special.